Hey everyone, Lisa here from lisaandpepe.com, certified wellness and well-being coach, mostly for women and the few men that will listen. Anyway, this month's wellness video I'm doing a little bit early, and I wanted to talk about worldwide wellness. There seems to be this shift that's probably been going on a long time, moving us towards a more global view on things. However, as most of you know, I do a lot of research, and I always say, please do not believe everything you see or hear unless you know all the facts first. And as always, turn off the news, turn off the main sources. I do not really buy into them, when they say, oh, we're pro this or anti that. Forget about all of them. Use the search engine, DuckDuckGo, and there's a few more that are coming out as well, where you can actually get real information about what you're looking for. And also start to do a little bit of research. There are people out there that are actually digging through the documents, the numbers, the statistics on everything. And, they're putting together their viewpoints on it. And a lot of them are actually medical doctors and nurses and just people in the healthcare profession that have been doing this a long time and want to give their point of view or their perspective on it because they are in the trenches actually dealing with the patients. And unfortunately, I see all over the world, and I do listen to different doctors and different sources outside of our own country. So I'm listening in Australia, the UK, and several other places like Canada, because I want to see what they're doing and where they're headed and the things that are going on, in their country, because I want to get a better perspective of what's going on. When you see a snippet on the news about what's going on, you don't get the whole worldwide view. And if we're going to talk about worldwide wellness and a global, they are calling it the Great Reset, this agenda, well, then I think we all need to know more information, don't you? I think we need to do a little more research. What is this world wellness program that you're trying to get every country to abide by or buy into? I know in our country, we've based a lot of things on our freedoms, and one of the freedoms that we all take for granted, but which I know a little bit more about, is freedom to have informed consent about things and speak to your own doctor or healthcare practitioner about what's best for you and your health. Also, we have the freedom to take care of our own health. We have the freedom to try different remedies. We have the freedom here so far to, take vitamins and supplements as we see fit. And I'm just starting to hear a little bit more about rules and regulations and things that seem like we're on a slippery slope to some of those options not being available to us any longer. And I'm not going to get into any conspiracy theories here, but I will tell you that, there is some truth to all supposed theories or conspiracy theories. There's always some truth on both sides of the aisle. There's always some truth in everything. So make sure that you are listening to other sources, gathering all your information, not just trusting in one person or one news source to give it to you. Make sure that you're having a bigger, like I said, worldwide view on what is going on, and start to understand that your health obviously is important to you. I hope it is, for most people. And your rights to protect your health in the way you see fit is your right, as far as I know, in this country. I do see that the worldwide view, like I said, has taken off. And I have to tell you that, when I look at it, I say, okay, well, that might be a great idea, but how are you going to get there? Or, maybe, like with this whole thing that's going on in 2020, Why aren't there several different ways to achieve the same outcome? Why is it always one side or the other, all or nothing type of mentality? Why can't it be, well, we can take a little from here, a little from there, a little from there, kind of do this and kind of make it work for everyone, not just, the few that want it their way. I happen to know a lot about different things in the wellness arena, and I do a lot of research on them. And I have noticed that a lot of the doctors that I follow are being censored. They're also being fact checked. And some of them, their YouTube channel and Facebook page has been taken down because they're discussing what they've always discussed. It's not even new material. It's not even new news. They're talking about supplementation. They're talking about boosting your immune system. But I guess they're not talking about it in the way that whoever the people who run these platforms want to hear. But last I checked, we do have freedom of speech here. And even though I might give you a piece of information, you might chalk it up to, well, that's kind of her opinion, and I'll take a little bit of that and a little bit over here, and I'm ultimately going to do what I feel is best anyway. At least I hope that's the way that you would think about your own wellness. But when I see these worldwide companies and governments and institutions and people trying to push, something on the entire world, I have to start asking questions. I have to say to myself, well, what is it exactly? What are they trying to do? Because, in my world, I can't take a lot of things. In my world, I can't have gluten. Maybe you can. In my world, I can't eat dairy. Maybe you can. But it should always be our choice. My choice on what I eat or put into my body, your choice to do the same. And when somebody uses fear tactics to tell you that your health is at stake for something and you must do this, this, and this, or else you will be expelled or canceled or negated in all of these areas, that's overstepping, at least in this country. Maybe other countries have different laws and rules, but I think most of the countries similar to us do have human rights rules and laws, and they do have different laws required. You're required to, knock before you enter somebody's house. You can't just barge in and start arresting people. Let's see what else has been going on. You can't just tell somebody they have to close their business when they're following the same rules as everybody else and they're actually doing it well. We also have freedoms that doctors can discuss with each patient, what the options are and give different remedies. And, I'm just seeing a lot more of that being taken away. And I'm personally on to what's going on. Like I said, I'm not going to talk about a lot of it here, but I am going to give you a general idea or at least opinion of what I'm thinking. Take it or leave it. Again, every video I do, please do not misconstrue this for any medical advice at all. This is just my opinion. And, I use some of my intuitive guidance and I do a lot of research. So what I've put together is, if somebody's not allowing people to have an open discussion about something, have a couple of different opinions, seek out different information or different ways to handle the situation from other sources, then I have to ask the question, what are they not telling me or us, or what are they hiding? It doesn't seem right when somebody, including myself, gets fact checked on a platform for talking about vitamins and supplements and immunity. I'm totally baffled at the fact that, you have to push back, and yeah, you'll get reinstated, or they'll, unfact check you once you prove to them that you're right, or you saw it over here, on one of the major sites like the CDC or NIH, and hey, there's a lot of information over there. If you want to go look for it, you can go see it. You can actually see the numbers of every single thing for the past however many years they've been tracking it. And I even have a way to go back further than that. But the things that I've discovered are not adding up. It's like, wait a minute. I know what this is. I know how this works. I know, a little bit about how these things work. And what you're telling me or what you're frightening me about, it doesn't add up. And I'm not saying that I'm right and I know everything, because good God, I do not. And like I said, this is just my opinion, but from what I'm seeing and from what I'm hearing from some very well respected doctors that are in the trenches and have been doing this a long time, you know, the math is not being portrayed or doled out fairly. And I'm not really sure why they're doing it. I have suspicions, but I don't think that there's a one size fit all solution to this. And I think that we can all work together. And maybe I'm going to sound naive, although I can tell you I'm really not as naive as I used to be. My eyes are kind of wide open now, and I've kind of shaken myself awake, if you know what I'm saying. And I think I've been awake a long time. I just sometimes chose to overlook it. But you'll notice, like with this worldwide view, okay, I look at all these companies, all these corporations, like I said, all these entities, and all of these governments. They have enough money to solve all the world's problems like tomorrow, and they're telling us, oh, you have to, do this and this and this. And I'm thinking, well, no, we don't all have to do this and this and this. We could also do this or this. We could meet in the middle and do this, maybe a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And like I said, I'm speaking a little bit in code here because I don't want to be fact checked again. But you know what I'm saying. So like I said, just do your own research, look it up yourself, come to your own conclusions, and do what's best for you and your family and your safety, of course. Do what you feel best, but also realize, there are other people out there that, might be able to handle certain things better than others. And, from what I've seen here, with them, shutting down, things around the world, and doing some things, taking draconian measures, to barge into people's homes and tell them you have too many family members here, or even to threaten that, like, even if they really didn't do it, it's like, since when are we allowed to do that in this country, or even some of the other countries I mentioned? Never before. This is not, I guess you would say, the end all, pathogen of all time. And yes, protect yourself. Do what you need to do. I'm totally for you handling it the way you have to handle it. But when they start to overstep our personal rights and freedoms like they have been, and I think they're pushing a little bit too hard for certain things, I have to question, what's the motive? There's got to be something else that they're after, something bigger. And frankly, from what I've researched and what documents I've seen on some of the major players and some of their websites, and I drill down, I go on the website, I look at their terms, I look at their missions or mission statements, I look at the about page. I also have pretended I was going to donate to see where that goes to, because, I always say follow the funds and follow the funding. You would be surprised how many of these big corporations have their hands like in the pharmaceutical companies. You would be surprised how many chemical companies are related to pharmaceutical companies. Not saying that we have to throw the baby out with the bathwater. Hey, I think Western medicine is great in a lot of cases, but I also think we should be able to take care of our own health and wellness before that. And I feel like very strongly that we should be able to take our vitamins and supplements and do what we need to do on that end. And we should have a choice of what we put into our bodies and what we don't. Now, unfortunately, there are a lot of things that we don't have a choice about. They're spewing chemicals into the air and the water, and God knows where else. They're spraying it on the food. I've always spoke about how bad these pesticides are, how bad genetically modified foods are, and I don't see them changing any of that. As a matter of fact, a lot of these companies that are in the pharmaceutical business they're the ones spewing all these chemicals. So I'm thinking, well, okay, are these chemicals going on there, going on our food, going in our water, going in the air, and then making us sick? And now we have to rely on the pharmaceutical companies to help us. And this big circle and this big web of all these people and all these companies they're all related in some way. And it might be a related, once or twice down the road, or maybe it's just, oh, this one sponsors that one, or that one is in an association with that one. But really, you got to look and you got to start putting the pieces of the puzzle together. So when we're talking about worldwide wellness, I'm like, yeah, that's great. That sounds really utopian. But how are you going to get there? Are you going to get there by hurting people, or are you going to get there by not practicing what you preach? That seems to be a big thing nowadays. Somebody tells you, close your business, stay home, wear your mask, be a good boy or girl. I'm going to go out to dinner with all my cronies and do whatever I want. I have to question it. And, at this point for me, when I see that, I'm like, okay, don't even try to apologize, because if people don't see the hypocrisy in this, I'm not even sure, if they need glasses or what. Maybe their eyes are just closed. So just shake yourself awake a little bit and try to look at the bigger picture. Try to look at things. We can all say, yeah, I don't care. I just want to live my life. Let's just get through this. Let's get back to normal. And I'm afraid that if we all turn the other cheek, we might not have any normal, because, like I said, what I'm seeing in my circles and online is really starting to worry me. And I've been concerned this whole time, but I'm really starting to notice it more and more. And it has happened to me, and it's happening to people I know. And like I said, these are well-respected doctors and nurses and people in the profession that I followed for years. So I am going to say to you, worldwide wellness is a great dream. And if these companies and politicians and people who are running the show and running these organizations, any of them, would put their money where their mouth is, we could solve all these problems tomorrow. They would be done, and they would be good. We'd all be good, right? If they really had our best interest in mind. So then I have to question again. If they don't have our best interest in mind, then what are they after? Not really sure. Conspiracy theories aside, although there's some truth to some of them, I'm not really going to buy into it. So it's kind of like when you hear a song, it's got a really catchy tune or a great melody, and you're like rolling along, humming along to it. You don't really know what it is. And you're like, oh yeah, I kind of like this. This sounds really good. Yeah. And then you read the words and you look at the words and you say, wait a minute, I didn't know they were singing about that. Oh my God, no, I don't like that. I don't want that. So that's like what this all feels like to me. So I'm just putting that out there for you. Take it or leave it. My opinion. I'm starting to feel a little uneasy about the whole thing. I'm thinking that, I want to remain in control of what goes in my body as much as possible. And I want to be able to talk to my doctor about what remedies I'm going to try, what medications I'm going to take or not take. And I don't want anybody telling me that I have to put something in my body that, hey, maybe I'm allergic to it. Maybe I'm allergic to the ingredients. How could I do that to myself? Like I said, hey, maybe you can do it. Maybe you can take it. Maybe you're willing. That's fine. That is your choice. But again, in wellness, in worldwide wellness, I think that everybody should have a choice to an extent, as far as somebody saying, hey, here's what we have for you. Here are your options. This is what's in the options. Here's the ingredient list. Come on, transparency here. And you make the choice. Do you want this or not? And if they take away that choice, then there's another agenda. I'm sorry, but I'm calling it out, because that's what I'm seeing. I'm starting to worry a bit about it, and I think you are too. And as far as, achieving this worldwide plan that they have, some are calling it the Great Reset. If you really look into the documents and the books about it, you will realize, unfortunately, it doesn't have the best interest of everybody in mind. And, if I don't have a choice in it, I don't want to partake in it. I am all for, a cleaner environment and, clean water and clean air. But the same companies that are telling you that we have to clean that all up and prevent climate change are actually contributing to it majorly. And like I said, if you start to trace or connect the dots, you will see that. And I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I have seen this on paper. I have gone to these websites. I've gone to these organizations. And I was on one the other day, and I don't know what it was called, and it said it was sponsored by these companies. And I looked at all the companies that sponsored it, and I said, well, all those companies are either pharmaceutical or chemical companies. Now, why are pharmaceutical and chemical companies on the same page or in the same organization? Okay, let's figure out what's going on here. I'm not saying I know everything. I'm just saying that's what I found. I stumble across these things. I do use search engines that are not the major players. I do have different ways to get in the back door to different websites that I want to go to. I don't just, use one of the search or the browser in the search engine to just, ask a question and take whatever it gives me, because that's what they want to give me. And I've noticed it's even more and more difficult for me to find answers to questions I have, like old questions. Like if I was like working on something, I got stuck on like one of the programs I'm working for, and I'd be like, how do you fix so-and-so on WordPress or something? And I can't even find the answer on the major search engines. I have to use a different one. I have to use DuckDuckGo and a couple of others, and I'm still testing them out, so I'm not going to mention them here. And that's how I'm finding my answers. And I'm going directly to the websites that I'm hearing, oh, so-and-so wants to do this great reset over at the World Economic Forum. So I go over there and I look at every page, what they're about, and I read about it. And then I look at the people involved. And then what I like to do, and I always say, do not trust anyone that you can't go and watch them in a video like this, raw, and watch them just speaking to you about what it is that they're into or what they want. Because when they're on like mainstream media or any of the social media where they're, up there and they're getting interviewed, a lot of times it's scripted. At least they script themselves, but they also aren't able to freely speak about things. Like when they go on like a mainstream news company or something, they're told to stay within certain parameters. They're told this is the focus and the direction we're taking this piece, this snippet. So stick with the guidelines and, make your 3 points, and then you're done. And a lot of times the producers or whoever's writing for them, they're actually scripting what they're saying. So even if it's a medical consultant or somebody who is a doctor, a lot of times they're being told what to say, or at least what they can and cannot say. So always do more research. Don't just trust what you see on the TV. I am telling you guys, there have been papers that have been put out, and a lot of people have swiped these files and they have them stored. I'm starting to do it for my own. I'm starting to save some of them just, in the wellness arena, health arena, because I want to start comparing notes and see what is your plan. If you're telling me that, this is mandatory, well, I want to know why, and I want you to give me all of the information, not just some of it. I want complete transparency, and I want to know what's in what you're trying to give me. And again, I want to see who the companies are paying, who's involved. It's a worldwide web what's going on right now, and I'm looking at all these people that are connected, and I'm saying, hold up. If I'm going to lose my freedom and my rights, you can keep your free healthcare. You can keep your free whatever it is you're trying to give me. If somebody tries to give you something and you have to give them something in exchange as far as giving away your rights to something, I don't want any part of it. I don't know about you, so I'm going to sound a little alarm, at least for myself. So when we hear these global, worldwide ideas, yeah, they may sound great, and who doesn't want, what's on the surface of them, but dig a little deeper and realize that, if they're going to start taking our rights away, especially with medical freedoms and informed consent, and make something mandatory in order for us to, do this or that, then I'm not I'm not buying into that. I cannot buy into that because I do feel that every person, needs to be able to make a choice and make the choice that's best for them. Sometimes when they say to you, yeah, but this is really going to help you and this is dangerous. And I weigh the options and I say, I have to say I'm going to hold off for now. No, thank you for now. Let's wait and see. Okay. I've got my own things that I can do. And, I'm going to try to keep myself, my immunity boosted as much as possible. And I'm not really seeing exactly what you're telling me. So I need more information. So please give me more information. And if they start shutting people down and they won't allow people to freely talk about it and they won't allow you to get the information out or let people make up their own minds, then I have to ask the question, what's going on? And I just think you should too. I want worldwide wellness. I want worldwide peace. But the same people that are pushing worldwide wellness are the same people that are polluting and putting chemicals out. And like I said, they're all interconnected. And unfortunately, some of the pharmaceuticals have got some pretty bad things in them. How many times have we seen, they put something out and they try it and then people get hurt or sick and they have to recall it, or there's a lawsuit, a class action lawsuit about it. So just be careful, make, your wellness and your health and wellness of you and your family your top priority. Do what it is you feel you should do and really understand, they talk about science, but science is always changing. But really, if you're going to use the word science, you really have to do the research and you have to follow it. You can't just throw the word science out without actually following the science, because if you followed the science, you would realize it's forever changing and there's always new experiments happening. And I just don't want everyone in the world to take part in an experiment unless they agree to it. So on that note, please visit me at lisambpepe.com. On my homepage, I've got a lot of free resources, and get over there. And whenever you sign up for those free resources, you will also get on my email list just in case they decide to take my social media down in the future. I don't know. But like I said, that's a big red flag for me anyway. And also, over there, you can see that I have a podcast page and a video blog page. You can go over there and look at some more information that I put out every week, every couple of weeks. And also, if you'd like, I do have a monthly membership where I'm going to be doing some workshops and also doing some weekly meetings, like a wellness circle on a Zoom call, more private than this. But I just wanted to get this out to you, and I wanted us all to really start to think about what this worldwide plan or reset is and make sure that it's not jeopardizing your health in any way. I think there's more than one way to do this, and I think we need everybody's opinion and experiences at this point. We can't just go by one person or one entity and say, oh yeah, I trust you 100%. Yeah, give it to me. Give me whatever you want. I'll do whatever you want. It doesn't work that way for me. I don't know about you, but I like my freedom of choice. Hoping that we can keep that, at least in this country. From what I'm seeing and hearing from my friends all over the world, that is not happening. And like I said, all these companies and corporations and politicians, all the money they have, all the money they've raised, it could solve every problem that they're running on, that they're telling you that, you have to participate in this because we have this problem. It's like, no, you could solve that. You could have fixed that. Even the problem we have this year in 2020, I believe could have been prevented and could have been solved if they wanted to. So there's something else going on. Worldwide wellness is awesome. Love that song, love that melody, but we have to really look at what's going on behind the scenes and what the other agendas are. Get to know the people who are talking about this and do your research on them so you know. And when they come knocking at your door, you can still say no in this country because we do have those rights. So also look into that. I love reading about what rights I have under our laws and constitution. It's really interesting to see, especially our medical freedoms that we actually still have, believe it or not, even though they make it sound like we don't. We have choices. On that note, have a great rest of your day or week and visit me on lisambpepe.com. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.